to this week's daily writing clinic for General Task 1, General Training. And this week we are looking at the third bullet point paragraph and the sign-off of the formal letter that we've been working on all of this month. So before we start, just a couple of little things. Just remember that these daily writing clinics are not mandatory, and you should be focusing on the course first. Make sure you finish everything on the course before working through these. The reason for that is that these daily writing clinics are meant to help you revise different aspects of the course, practice them, and gain some global feedback. So obviously you need to study the course first. The global feedback you can find in a link under this video Tuesday next week. Okay, so next week on Tuesday, look for the link under the video, and then you'll have the global feedback. The benefits of all this is that you can use the global feedback to analyze your own work and overcome your weaknesses. Please don't expect any individual feedback in the global feedback. That's the whole purpose of the correction service. So if you're looking for some specific, detailed feedback of your own work, then submit your corrections to the correction service, and one of our teachers will very happily go through your work. At the end of this video, I will set you a task. Post your answers to that task in the comment section under the video. Okay, so with all that said, let's get on with today's daily writing clinic. So like I said, we're looking at the third bullet point paragraph and sign off. Okay, so this month's question was: you have just read an article in an international travel magazine which contains some information about your town that is incorrect. Write a letter to the editor of the magazine. In your letter, so the first bullet point was correct the information in the article. Then the second bullet was explain why it is important for the magazine to give correct information. And then the third bullet, and this is the one we're concerned with today, is to suggest what the magazine should do about this situation. So first question we always have to be asking ourselves is it a formal or informal letter that we're writing, because this determines the tone of our letter. We can see here, it says write a letter to the editor of the magazine. We know that anything that does not say friend is a formal letter, so we're having to write this as a formal letter. We're not using contractions, and we're going to be using more formal language. Something that many students seem to make mistakes with, however many times I tell them, what is the correct length for a bullet point paragraph? So is it 20 to 30, 45 to 55, 60 to 70? And it doesn't matter as long as I answer the question. 45 to 55. Anything under this means your answer is not sufficiently developed. If your answer is not sufficiently developed, you cannot score highly on your task response. So it's very important to make sure you have at least 45 words. Anything over 55, basically, you're wasting your time, and time is a very precious commodity in the writing section of the IELTS exam. You're also likely to be writing a lot of information that is unnecessary, or maybe slightly off topic. That will in turn hurt your task achievement. And on top of all of that, by writing extra words, there increases the possibility that you might be making vocabulary or grammar mistakes, and that also will be hurting your score. So try and stick to 45 to 55 words. If you're a couple of words over the 55, it's not a big deal, but you really don't want to be under the 45. Okay, so you really want about a 45 word limit on the minimum. If you ended up writing about 60, it's not the end of the world, but try not to. Try and keep it around 50, but that means you probably ended up writing an extra sentence that you didn't need to write. And like I said, time is of the essence. Time is important. So remember, we need to stay on topic. So the question here is suggest what the magazine should do about the situation. Can I talk about other people's opinion of their magazine? Now, if it's saying what the magazine should do, there's no reason to be talking about other people's opinion. Just because they've made a mistake, this is not the place to be talking about other people's opinion of their magazine. We're trying to tell them about correcting the mistake. So this would not be appropriate. Can I talk about what the mistake is? That was the purpose of the very first bullet point paragraph. You don't want to be answering or using the information that you're using in the other bullet point paragraphs in this one. So you don't really want to be going, the mistake was, you should have already mentioned that in the very first bullet point paragraph. So again, it would not be appropriate here. Can I talk about why it is important not to make a mistake? Now, this was the second bullet point paragraph, so it would not be appropriate in this one to talk about why it's important not to make mistakes, because we're trying to tell them what they should do to correct it. So finally, can I talk about how the magazine could correct their mistake? You certainly can. So whichever way you decide to do that, that would be appropriate. But that's the only one of these four ideas that you should be focusing on, how the magazine could correct their mistake. Make sure you get straight to the point. There's no need to introduce the idea. So your very first sentence of your bullet point paragraph should state your main idea. Okay, so the very first sentence is saying how they should correct it, how they should correct their mistake. The couple of sentences that follow are just developing your idea. So make sure they're all related. So you've got sentence one that's got your main idea of how they can correct their mistake. The following sentences are just developing that idea. It's explaining that idea, it's giving a little bit more information about that idea, but making sure we stay on topic. Okay. After you've finished writing, check that every sentence you've written is relevant to the bullet point you are answering. So go through them. There's only going to be about 3 sentences, or maybe 4. Make sure every single one of them directly answers the bullet point. Okay, make sure you are on topic. So when we're signing off, one thing you could do after writing the bullet points, some people like to add in an extra line, like I look forward to hearing from you soon, or something like this. This is not necessary. Again, personally, I would advise against it, because it's just enables you to make vocabulary or grammar mistakes. So by all means, add in an extra line if you want to sign off, but make sure you're doing it with vocabulary and grammar that you really do understand 100%. Don't try and be clever. You're not going to get any extra marks for writing it. You could certainly be losing marks by making mistakes. So make sure, again, you're focusing on accuracy. So personally, if I was doing this after the 3 bullet point paragraphs, I would go straight into a direct sign-off. The things that I've noticed confuse students is the yours sincerely and the yours faithfully. So yours sincerely, we're going to use if you included their name in the greeting. So let's say you wrote, Dear Mr. Smith. Then at the end, you can use yours sincerely. Yours faithfully is when you didn't know the name. So let's say you just use Dear Sir or Madam, you can use yours faithfully. Now, I don't know about anyone else, but I always forget these. Even before making this video, I had to go online to confirm which one is which because it always confuses me. And the easiest sign off, and again, we're in the game of accuracy. The most important thing is being accurate. So kind regards, you can use on everything. You can use it in formal letters, informal letters. It's very easy. Okay, the spelling is easy as both of the previous words. You don't have to remember, am I writing it to Sarah or Madam? Am I writing it to a person? So my suggestion to you is use kind regards. Okay, it's the easiest way to sign off. As I say, you're not going to get any extra marks for using yours sincerely or yours faithfully. So why not use the easiest thing possible? A couple of comma rules that people get confused about sometimes. So if you included a comma in your greeting, you must include a comma in your sign off. So let's say we wrote, dear sir, madam, comma. Then in our sign off, we're going to have kind regards, comma. However, if you wrote dear sir, madam, and did not put a comma, then after kind regards, there would also be no comma. So you've got to be consistent with your commas. Okay, so I'm saying if you included it, you must have it in your sign off. And likewise, if there was no comma in your greeting, then do not use one in your sign off. So this week's task is to write the third bullet point paragraph for this question and sign off. Okay, so that is your task for this week of suggest what the magazine should do about the situation. Remember, we're only answering the third bullet point paragraph and signing off. We're not having to do anything else, so just stick to the task. Okay, apart from that, like I said, you'll find the global feedback for this task next Tuesday in a link under this video. Okay, thank you very much. I hope you're all well. Have a great day and goodbye for now.